You know that specific nightmare? The one where you're on stage, spotlight hits, you open your mouth and just nothing comes out.
Violent scream.
Yeah, exactly. But we're not talking about dreams today. We're talking about that very real feeling in a meeting or even just ordering coffee where the thought is perfect in your head.
Oh, yeah.
You know the words, but your body just hits the emergency brake.
It's a total system failure. The heart starts going, hands get cold, and your mind, which was crystal clear a second ago, is just static.
And the worst part is later, right? The drive home, you're just replaying it over and over thinking, I knew the answer. Why didn't I say anything?
Mm-hmm. It feels like a personal failing,
Yeah.
like you weren't brave enough.
Exactly. It feels like cowardice. But today we're going to dig into why it's actually more of a biological glitch.
Right.
We're doing into some excerpts from a really great book, Unlocking Your Voice, The Path to Fearless Speaking.
And we're going to be drilling down into one specific part called Stop Freezing, Start Talking.
And the mission here is really specific, isn't it? We're not talking about how to give a TED Talk.
No, not at all. This isn't about slide decks or presentation skills. This is about the mechanics of that freeze response. And, crucially, how to get around it.
The serial argues it's less about knowing more words and more about understanding your own biology.
Which is such a relief, I think.
It is, because if it's biology, you can work with it. You can hack it. So let's start there. Why do we freeze? The text makes a really bold claim right away. It says freezing is not a sign of weakness.
No, and this is fundamental to get. Freezing is actually a sign of a perfectly functioning survival system. That's the irony.
A survival system.
Yeah. Points to 3 root fears. Fear of making mistakes, fear of being judged, and just, the fear of sounding stupid.
Okay, I can relate to all of those.
But those are just the triggers. The actual mechanism is evolutionary.
So this is that saber-toothed tiger in the boardroom idea, right?
Precisely. Your brain's fear center, the amygdala, it perceives a threat. And that part of your brain is ancient. It can't really tell the difference between they might laugh at my grammar and a lion is about to eat me.
It sees danger.
It just registers threat. And so it triggers fight, flight, or freeze.
And in a meeting, you can't really fight your boss or run out of the room.
Not without consequences, no. So the brain goes with option C, freeze. It's a defense mechanism. It's trying to make you invisible because in the wild, being invisible keeps you alive.
So my brain is actually trying to help me. It's just really bad at assessing the actual stakes.
It's an evolutionary mismatch. It's running ancient software in a modern world. It treats social rejection like a life or death scenario because, for our ancestors, being kicked out of the tribe was a death sentence.
Wow. Okay, so we've got this biological override happening, but this points out something really counterintuitive here. It says that while your brain thinks silence is keeping you safe, silence is actually the trap.
This is the crucial part. This is where behavioral psychology comes in. The views that staying silent actually reinforces the fear.
How's that work? How does staying quiet make it worse for next time?
Well, think about the sequence. You feel the urge to speak, right? Your anxiety spikes. That feels bad, like a punishment. Then you decide not to speak. And what happens? Immediately, the anxiety goes down. You feel relief.
And that relief feels good. It's a reward.
It's a reward. You're literally teaching your brain, see, that was dangerous. We stayed quiet and we were saved.
So you're chemically rewarding yourself for staying silent.
You're validating the amygdala's false alarm. So the next time the brain remembers, hey, staying quiet worked out great for us last time. Let's do that again. You're training yourself to freeze.
That is terrifying. We're actively conditioning ourselves to fail.
We are. And that's why the source is so insistent that speaking, even speaking badly, is better than staying silent. You have to break the loop.
Which is hard when we're all waiting for that perfect moment. This has to be the perfection paradox it talks about.
Oh, the perfect moment fallacy. Yes. This is the intellectual trap that keeps so many smart, capable people from speaking up.
I am so guilty of this. I'll think, okay, I'll say something when I'm 100% sure my grammar is flawless, or when I know exactly how the sentence will end.
It's the waiting game. And this is really blunt about this, that perfect moment never, ever arrives. It's a ghost.
Because it's a moving target.
Because real conversation is messy. It's fluid. If you wait until you feel totally ready, you'll be waiting forever. Because that feeling of zero anxiety, it's just not possible.
And this connects to what I thought was the most important insight in the whole thing, the part about confidence. We think we need confidence before we can speak.
Right. The common assumption is, I will speak when I feel confident. But this flips that entire equation. It says confidence doesn't come before the act. Confidence is the result of the act.
It's a chicken and egg situation.
And in this case, the action is definitely the egg. You have to speak while you're scared. The confidence is what you earn on the other side once you see you've survived it.
So you can't think your way into confidence. You have to act your way into it.
Exactly. Confidence is just the memory of survival. Your brain sees, okay, I spoke, I made a small mistake, and I didn't get kicked out of the tribe.
Yeah.
It recalibrates the threat level.
Okay, that makes so much sense intellectually. But let's get practical. Because when I'm in that moment and my heart is pounding, I need a toolkit. I can't just whisper evolutionary mismatch to
Well,
myself.
you need a manual override,
Yeah.
and that gives a break glass in case of emergency protocol.
Mm.
And step one is so simple, but the physiology behind it is deep. It's just slow down.
Because the panic wants to speed everything up.
It puts you on fast forward. You feel this immense pressure to answer immediately. Just stop, slow it all down. And the tool for that is your breath.
Specifically, it says take one deep breath. Just one. Why is that?
Well, you don't have time for a full meditation session, for one.
Right.
But more importantly, it's about hacking your nervous system. Panic breathing is shallow and fast. When you force one deep, slow exhale, you stimulate what's called the vagus nerve.
And that sends a biological signal, right? It says, we're safe.
Exactly. You wouldn't be taking a long, slow breath if a bear were chasing you. So it tells your brain the alarm is false.
It's like a little hardware reset.
It is. And that brings the thinking part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, back online. The breath literally reconnects the wires so you can find your words again.
Okay, so breath taken, brain is coming back, but you still have to actually get words out. And I think this is where people try to do too much. They try to come out with this perfect long sentence.
Yes. They aim for a masterpiece. But your brain can't handle that cognitive load. It's already overloaded with anxiety.
So what's the alternative?
It calls it the low bar approach. Step 2, start small. You don't need a paragraph. You just need a bridge.
A verbal on-ramp. I like that.
That's a great way to put it. And the source gives these almost ridiculously simple phrases. Things like, I think, or in my opinion, or even just, I feel that.
That's barely a sentence. I think is just 2 words.
That's the whole point. It
Well,
takes
do-
almost zero mental effort. But the moment you say, I think, out loud, a couple of things happen. 1, you've broken the silence.
The seal is broken.
Exactly. And 2, your brain automatically starts looking for what comes next. It's a pattern completion machine. It wants to finish the thought.
Like an autocomplete function for your mouth.
Right. You just have to get that first word out. The rest will follow on its own momentum. The goal isn't to be perfect. The goal is just to get moving.
Okay, so that handles the emergency. But what about prevention? Training regime to stop the freeze from happening so often in the first place.
Right, because we freeze out of shock. It's not a normal activity for our brains. We only speak under pressure.
It's like only ever playing in the championship game, but never practicing.
Perfect analogy. Of course you're going to choke. You have no muscle memory. So, and this is the key low-pressure practice.
We need to make speaking so normal it becomes boring to the brain.
Exactly. Desensitization. The book lists all these zero-stakes environments. Talk to yourself while you're cooking. Talk to the mirror. Narrate what you're doing while you're driving.
I do that sometimes. I thought it was just weird. Okay, now we're turning left. That person needs to learn how to merge.
You're not weird, you're training. You're strengthening those neural pathways between thought and speech. You're making it mundane. And mundane things aren't scary.
There's one technique in there I really want to focus on because it's so powerful but often misunderstood. Shadowing.
Yes. Shadowing is a game changer if you do it correctly.
Most people think it's just listening to something and then pausing the audio to repeat it.
That's listen and repeat. And that's fine for pronunciation, but it's not shadowing. Shadowing is simultaneous. You're speaking along with the speaker, maybe half a second behind them, like an echo.
That sounds incredibly hard.
It is at first. It's cognitive gymnastics. But here's why it works for the freeze response. You aren't just copying the words. You're forced to copy the melody of the speech.
The rhythm, the energy.
The intonation, the pauses, the confidence. You are physically trying on their confident way of speaking.
So you're basically hijacking their nervous system for a minute.
In a way, yes. You're teaching your body what confident speaking feels like physically. You're building muscle memory for an emotional state. It's incredibly powerful.
Let's pivot to the mindset piece. It's up what it calls a forbidden sentence. One thing we just have to stop saying.
Oh, I hear this one all the time. Sorry, my English is bad.
Or, sorry, I'm a little nervous. It feels like a polite thing to do, to lower expectations.
But this explains it's actually really damaging. When you apologize before you've even done anything, you're immediately lowering your own status. You're telling everyone, including yourself, what I'm about to say isn't worth much.
It frames the entire interaction as a failure before it even starts.
And it forces the listener to start looking for your mistakes. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
So what's the alternative?
The book offers a new mantra, which I love. Mistakes don't reduce your value. Silence does.
Oof, that's powerful. Mistakes don't reduce your value. Silence does.
It completely reframes success. Success isn't perfect grammar. Success is, I participated. Did you speak up? Then you won.
But, okay, let's be real. It can be awkward. If you stumble on a word, that silence can feel really loud.
It does. But here's the reality check. Awkward moments are a normal part of conversation. For everyone. Even the most confident speakers.
We sort of imagine confident people as these flawless orators.
It's an illusion. They stumble. The difference is in the reaction. A confident person forgets a word and they just pause. They might say, what's the word? And they just keep going.
They don't see it as a stop sign.
Exactly. They see it as a speed bump. An insecure speaker hits that bump and thinks the car's broken and pulls over. The confident speaker just keeps driving. We have to normalize the messiness of it all.
And speaking of physical things, let's talk about the body hacks. Because the freeze isn't just in your head, it's in your posture.
Absolutely. It's a feedback loop. If you're hunched over, looking at your feet, your arms cry.
The classic turtle position.
You're physically signaling, I am a threat to no one, please ignore me. Your brain reads that posture and gives you more stress hormones to match.
So the idea is to reverse engineer that.
Hack the loop. You stand up straight, open your chest, and the big one is look up.
Why is looking up so important?
When you look down, you're going internal. You're literally looking at your own fear. When you look up and out, you're engaging with the world.
Yeah.
It signals to your brain that you're ready to participate.
It's that fake it till you make it idea.
It's not just a cliche, it's a biological strategy. Let the body lead and the mind will follow.
I also love the rule the source sets out. Overthinking freezes you. Action frees you.
That's the antidote to analysis paralysis. We try to write and edit the perfect essay in our head before we say a single word.
Which is impossible in real time.
And totally inefficient. The advice is to just start talking. Fix the sentence as you're speaking it.
Right.
Trust that you can land the plane even if you took off without a perfect flight plan.
That requires a lot of trust in yourself.
It does. But that trust is built through taking action, not through thinking about it.
Which brings us to the last piece of the puzzle. Your environment. We have to eventually talk to other people. This creating safe harbors.
Right. It's about scaling the risk. You can't go from practicing alone in the mirror straight to giving a presentation to the board of directors. You need a step in between.
The practice partner.
Exactly. A friend, a language tutor, a supportive colleague, someone who knows you're working on this.
And why is that step so crucial?
Because you need to experience making a mistake where the consequences are zero. In a safe harbor, mistakes are free. You can try a new word, mess it up, and just laugh about it. That laughter kills the fear.
It desensitizes you to the feeling of being judged.
Yes, and it allows for experimentation. But, really clear on this, we have to remember that progress is not a straight line.
The nonlinear warning. This is where a lot of people give up, I think. You have a great week, you feel amazing, and then on Tuesday, you freeze up again.
And the immediate thought is, see? It didn't work. I'm back at square one.
But you're not.
You're not. A bad day is not a relapse, it's just a data point. It's like going to the gym. Some days the weights feel heavy. Doesn't mean you lost all your muscle. It just means you're human.
The overall trajectory is what matters, not the one-off bad day.
Precisely.
So if we just, recap this whole journey, we started with the biology, understanding the freeze is just a false alarm.
We threw out the perfection paradox, realizing confidence comes after you speak, not before.
We put together that emergency toolkit, one deep breath, and then start small with a phrase like, I think.
And then we looked at the long-term training, the daily practice, shadowing, and using our body language to help our brains.
It feels like a lot, but at the end of the day, it all boils down to one fundamental shift in thinking, doesn't it?
It really does. It's the shift from, I need to be good to speak, to, I need to speak to get good.
That's it. Speaking badly is better than staying silent.
Because messy, imperfect speaking breaks the fear cycle. Silence just makes it stronger.
As we wrap up, one final thought that I want to leave everyone with. It feels bigger than just learning a language.
It's a powerful one. Your voice doesn't need permission.
Your voice doesn't need permission.
We spend so much of our lives waiting for someone to tell us we're ready now, we're smart enough, we're fluent enough.
Waiting for a permit that's never going to arrive.
It's never coming. You have to be the one to grant it to yourself. You have to decide that what you have to say is worth the space it takes up, imperfections and all.
So the question for you listening right now is this. Where are you waiting for permission that will never come? And what would happen if you just took that one deep breath, looked up, and started talking? Start. Thanks for diving in with us. We'll see you next time.